godly waters. I mean, they're going crazy over Black Panther right now. Everybody thinks that it's a big, they're superheroes now. But to start off, I just want to know, like, were you born in Toronto?
Yep.
Yeah.
Born at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Yeah.
Right downtown.
What high school did you go to?
I went to high school in Cambridge, Ontario. So when I was 12, we moved to Cambridge in a school called Galt Collegiate.
Okay.
Way out in the boonies. About an hour west of Toronto.
Okay. How was that?
I loved high school. So it was great in that I met some of my closest friends, and I was able to thrive in the arts. I played football, and then I'd do plays. So
You into theater?
Oh yeah.
Same here. I was into theater.
That was my creative outlet, and I was just absolutely plagiarizing Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Jim Carrey when I was in high school. Just absolutely stealing all of their material to try to make girls laugh. And then I would
you must have done well then, making girls laugh.
I did all right. But listen, girls aren't trying to check for the chubby funny guy. They're not they'll be friends with the chubby funny guy. They're not checking for the chubby. They're checking for the slim, athletic, charming guy. I had my gift was of the gab, and the gab didn't really get me get me past midnight.
But you know what though? How you like me now? How they like you now?
It's still the same. No, it's still the same.
Stop this.
Still the same. I'm at the plate swinging and missing often.
No, you're good. So after high school, you went to
I went to Ryerson.
Okay.
Went to Ryerson, took radio and TV.
Okay.
And then met another group of great friends, creators. We were all sort of playfully competitive, and a couple of us.
Did you play football then?
No. Ryerson has a basketball team, volleyball team, hockey team, but no football team.
So after high school, that was it for football.
That's correct. Yeah, okay. I just continued being chubby, and not as funny.
So this getting into sportscasting was in in college. That's what you did?
No,
What did you take?
I took radio and TV, but there wasn't a focus on sports. It was just learning television production and learning writing and storytelling.
Okay.
And then radio, we'd learn about production and
so a whole plethora of things.
Yeah, a few things. It wasn't. I never really wanted to be a sportscaster, and then when I got a job interning at a sports channel, I already had an interest in sports, but I didn't think my career would be in sports. I wanted to be an actor, and I wasn't very good. I'm not that great of an actor. Yeah, so I was auditioning for little.
Was there any particular roles that you went for that we know about?
No. They're not offering me movies. I'm not in the room in L.A. for we got this new movie called Independence Day. They're that's not coming to me. Maybe if it was someone that gets
Mr. Richards, we got the check here for you, blank check.
No, nothing like that. It was small parts in commercials, maybe one line. I'm eating a sandwich on Tim Hortons commercial or something.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that Advil commercial, I was laughing about it because I seen you when you were doing the leg press. I'm looking, I'm like, how many plates is on that? And it looked like you're doing a good job of making it look like it was heavy.
Yeah, it wasn't 4 plates aside.
You had to do great 30 acting takes. To me because it took me a few times. I'm like, he's not really pushing plates there. He's just. That's one plate.
That's a good eye. And you know what else I did? Because it was a shot, a profile shot. I got this from Jamie Foxx. I heard it in an interview once. I just flexed my triceps to make it look like I was trying to run. Jamie Foxx once, I think he was on Fallon. He was talking about a movie he did with Ryan Reynolds. I think it was Olympia Has Fallen or White House. Maybe it was White House Down. But Jamie Foxx is when you shoot the gun, make sure you flex your arms because in slow motion, your arms will look so diesel. So that's what I remember when I was at this gym and just doing a leg press. Nothing nearly as cool as Jamie Foxx in an action film.
Oh, that's funny. So you wanted to be an actor, but that didn't pan out.
Correct.
But it looked like you carved a way for yourself. You carved a lane for yourself, though.
I did.
Because you now when you think about it, with your sketch and your, how should we say, antics?
Yeah, antics that's a good one.
To tell you honest truth, I don't think, when were you on the score? What year was that?
The score I started appearing on camera in 01 to 02. Then I left to go to Sportsnet from '02 to '05 to do a show called NBA Excel and J Zone. Then I came back to the Score in '05 to 2010, did Cabby on the Street, Cabby Unlimited, and 2 episodes of Cabby All Stars, very short-lived. And then in 2011, moved here to TSN. So I think most people that have seen my stuff was in that '05 to 2010
So '05,
era.
2010.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like everybody knows, I was incarcerated. So you were one of the guys we would watch, and for the most part, you kept us entertained. So
Thanks.
we appreciate
Thanks.
it. Appreciate that. And the sketches, sitting down with Bosch, and the big one, of course, is for me, anyways. And I don't know if that's the same thing for you, sitting down with the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant.
That was big for very, very big
Like,
for
I don't
me.
know
That was huge.
what you the children would say nowadays. You must be part of the Illuminati.
Yeah,
Forget
right.
that.
Yeah, right.
That's what the children would say. They don't know about hard work. But yeah, so but that those years between '05 and 10 were ones that I personally paid attention to what you were doing. And
Thanks, man.
So yeah, so your background in theater, you could see it, how you had to carve. Did you come in saying, you know what, this is what I want to do to the producers or whoever you had to
At
tell?
the Score?
Yeah.
No. I was an intern, so I just kept my mouth shut for like the first year.
Okay.
And then as I felt more comfortable, I would become more vocal. And I was just writing scripts for the host. So we write like.
So were you the one writing for Tim and Sid?
No. Tim and Sid are great writers on their own. We would just provide.
Because they're funny too. I'm like,
They're
yo,
great.
when they were doing all that talk, I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
who's
that's
that?
Tim. Tim grew up in Scarborough. That's Tim McAuliffe.
Is it
yeah.
Scarborough?
Tim
Okay.
McAuliffe is a Scarborough man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, we got to sit down. You already know. Scarborough, Neil McNeil. You already know.
He went to. Tim went to Senator O'Connor. I
Stop
think.
this. Up the road?
I think so.
That's up the road. Hey, you know.
Yeah, I think
You know.
Senator
I think he
O'Connor.
did. Now that you say
But
it.
however, if I'm wrong, I apologize. But
No,
I think
I think
Senator
it is
O'Connor.
Senator. I think it is O'Connor. He did go to Tim. We got to sit down.
So we would just do like the framework. So like say there's a highlight pack that's a minute and it's 5 highlights. It could be, Detroit Lions versus Minnesota Vikings. So at the time I might say, Dante Culpepper throws a 65-yard touchdown to Randy Moss, 17-0 Minnesota in the second quarter. So, and so 4 more highlights like that, give it to the host, and then the host would then add his or her own flavor to the highlights. Like Tim always had nicknames for people. He had certain expressions. One of my favorites was "Pitch better have my money" in a baseball term, baseball pack. Or he would say, "I got 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one." Like he invented that line. Actually, I called him first. I did this bit about baseball and hip hop, and I made these. I had like hip hop expressions, but in a baseball kind of baseball connotation. Thank you. So one was 99 problems with pitch ain't one. So David Ortiz was one of the guys I interviewed, Big Papi, and he's like, "Can I have this T-shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He goes, "I might just wear it in the game." Wore it in the game, hit a home run. So as he's like rounding like third base, his jersey, like the 2 top buttons were unbuttoned.
I know.
You could see the gray
I know the
T-shirt
Papi
underneath.
relax. I'm Big Papi relax.
Big
mode.
Papi was just such a legend.
Yeah,
so that was
right?
like a very cool moment for me, seeing like a prop that I came up with and actually wearing it in a game, and then my guy hitting a home run.
So
Another
you
dude,
never got a souvenir from him, like something signed?
no. The footage alone was enough for me. When I saw the highlight and I saw the shirt, I'm like, he actually wore the shirt. That was
That's dope.
That's
that
enough
would
for
be
me.
cool. That would be cool. I wanted to take it back. I never touched on your parents and how was that growing up? And was it Cambridge?
Yeah, so I lived 12 to 19. So it was okay. I have 2 younger brothers, so it was like a busy household. Everybody played sports. I wasn't very good at sports. I played in the summertime. I would either have a job or I'd play house league baseball.
Okay.
And my 2 younger brothers, they played travel baseball. So every weekend, my dad was either in Stratford, Ontario, or Peterborough, or Hamilton, or
It's all over the place.
yeah, Sault Ste. Marie. I don't know if they went that far, but they played on like a travel team for Cambridge. So
So your parents were together for
my parents are together. Sometimes my mom would go on the tournament. Sometimes she would stay home. But
you
and
have
I
both
always.
parents in your household. That's
Oh
what
yeah. Mom's from Trinidad, dad's from Jamaica. So music was a very.
They met here.
Yeah, they met at the University of Toronto.
Oh, okay.
So my parents both went there, graduated. My brother went to U of T. I went to Ryerson. My youngest brother went to U of T.
Yeah, I think one of your brothers played for LA Kings, right?
No, I say
joking?
jokingly.
Oh, you joking?
My baby bro, Mike Richards. Yeah, no, that particular guy, he's from Kenora, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
And we just share the same name. And the first time I hosted a golf tournament for him once, and so I was on the mic, and I was like, I'm the Richards that people kind of forget about or didn't really know about because mom had a couple of years, which and here I am, and everybody laughed or whatever.
See, that's your writing skills right there. That's
just
your
me
writing
being an
skills.
idiot. So both parents in the house. My dad, when he was growing up or like during school, we used to throw parties, and he had a partner in crime, and my dad would spin like soul records and some.
So your dad had records.
My dad was a DJ, yeah.
Okay, so everything, the Music Mondays, everything ties back to.
Yeah, I was in
to the roots.
The music being played at home informed my love of music later on in my life.
Oh,
but I'll say this: like my dad is from Jamaica, he's a roots man. Reggae and R&B were played, a lot of reggae in the house, but I'm not really a reggae dude because I rebelled. Like reggae, soca, that's my parents' music. I was like hip hop, R&B, that's for me.
Yeah.
So even when I would go Caravana times and they're playing soca reggae, I'm like, this is all right. And it was nice to like dance with some girls. But I just wanted to hear some hip hop.
Reggae was a thing. I know in the club when the music comes on, then you just grind with the girls. But for the most part, once that's done, the girls leave the floor and it's just the hip hop thing now. It's just you know what I mean?
And some girls would stay and dance or whatever.
But most of the you'd see the difference. Nobody's dancing like they were dancing with reggae. So,
right.
So yeah, I can see it now. That's really cool.
Thanks,
really
man.
Cool. So as far as religion or spirituality, did they give you an open concept, or did they actually say, okay, we're this? Because most of us are just born and then we're told this is what we are and not really given a chance to.
That's a good question. My mom is very religious. She's a Christian. When I was a kid, I would go to Sunday school when I lived. So when I was 5 to 10, I lived at Jane and Finch, which is a total cultural. It's a cultural opposite than Cambridge, Ontario. So I would go to Sunday school, and our church was just at the school community center. We would just be in the gym. And then my grandmother on my mom's side, maternal grandmother, she was devout Baptist, and then grandmother on my dad's side, paternal grandmother, she was a Jehovah's Witness. My dad didn't really follow the Jehovah's Witness that religion that much. My mom was kind of growing up. She was like religious, but not as much as she is now, and as she's a little older, and I guess maybe more looking at her life in the rear view. But they didn't until I was about 10. I went to church a lot, but then after I guess when I got in my teenage years, then it was less of a priority or less of a focus in the house.
Okay, so do you do you follow any particular religion?
No. I would say I'm spiritual. I have a relationship with the Creator, but I don't go to church or anything like that because I have, everybody has their
I know
their own personal relationship, but also like I have a bit of some things
you can read. That's the problem. Where you can read,
it's interesting.
That's what it is. Where you can read and understand words.
Did you say overstand words?
Yeah, this is what I mean. When you can actually read this stuff that the fairy tales that have been told to you, you're just like, yeah, okay. I love my mother, same way, religious. Like, matter of fact, like my family, the women on my mom's side, they're very spiritual. Like they even go like back where we were. My family's from,
which is where.
Quote unquote Nigeria.
Why do you say quote unquote? Are they from Nigeria or no?
Yeah, it is Nigeria. I'm just saying that's what modernly that's what it's called. Because I'm very
what
very
do you call
into
it then?
Me?
Yeah.
Exactly what I said, quote unquote. Quote unquote. Just like the same thing with Canada. Because they act like Canada is not America. Like Canada is America. Like, think about this.
What?
How old is Canada?
We're 151 years old.
How old is Toronto?
Toronto's 200 and...
That's crazy. Like,
Why is that crazy?
like, how is that the country, and isn't the city supposed to be younger than it's just like your parents? You're older, you're younger than your parents, no? Because they act like Canada is this country, but I just know better as far as...
I still don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's things that we could get into another time.
Okay, sure,
you know?
sure.
But I'm just saying, as far as Canada is just it's a corporation on paper. The land itself has been here longer.
Of course,
and,
yes.
And when you think about indigenous people, native people,
yeah.
we never think about people that look like us because of what we've been taught. And the truth is, we are
indigenous to this country.
To this land.
To this land, which is on the other side of the Atlantic from where our people are from.
Well, I wouldn't say, this is what I'm saying. This is the issue. Our people, we're from here too.
So, are you talking about like before the Jurassic Park area, when all the continents were there, was Gondwana
Yeah,
land
even then. I'm going even as that because that's glad you brought that up. Imagine doing Pangea, me and you in so-called Africa, and you're married to my sister, and or whatever. We have a little family. I'm like, you know what, yo, fam, let's go up to Canada.
Guy, there's no let's go up to Canada. Can you the size?
How do you know that?
Dude,
how do you know that?
You can't even picture the size of Ontario. Ontario is the largest province in Canada. It is massive. As a landmass, it is enormous.
So how do you think people track the world at one point?
On foot, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not like, let's just go over to Alberta from friggin'
so
we're in Quebec City.
So I'm not saying
that is a year-long hike.
Exactly. You think they have Do you think they have something else to do?
Yeah, they have to continue to have...
listen,
if we're going on Maslow's pyramid of needs...
They didn't have jobs and didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi and stuff like that.
Sure. They didn't have 21st century problems, but they had,
hunters
prehistoric
and gatherers.
Problems. Yeah.
That's what they were.
It was
Hunters
shelter.
and gatherers.
Maslow's basic pyramid of needs is safety and shelter and food.
Basically what I'm saying is
that was the job.
This is true. What I'm saying is we were always here, and what we've been taught, that's not what it is, That's what I'm saying. And there's more to it. I'm going to send you some information. I'm glad you brought it up, but there's other things I want to get into.
Okay, sure, yes. Yeah, let's continue.
I'm glad you brought it up. It's something we could talk about. So, get back into to how you got to meet Kobe.
Right.
So you start that was at the Score, right?
That was at the Score, yes.
So in what year was that?
I met him in December 19, 2005.
Okay, so leading up to it, did you have to prime him and
No, he never seen me before. I never saw him in real life before. And when you have a media pass for either the Raptors or the Maple Leafs, you get you can go to the practices. So the cool thing about the NBA is you can access a player 3 times a day. You can go right after morning practice.
Okay.
Then you can go 90 minutes before the game. The players are available for 45 minutes. And then you can talk to them after the game. So 3 times on a game day, you have the opportunity to speak to a player.
You have access to them.
Yeah. Some players like Kevin Garnett only wanted to speak after the game. And some players only wanted to speak in the morning. So, and some guys would speak.
And they'll let you know that, not the players, like
the PR staff would let you know, this person kind of likes to just speak in the morning. But anyway, I didn't know, I hadn't spoken to the LA Lakers PR staff. It was
you just beeline for Kobe.
Yeah, at noon, they open
I
up
love
the door.
it. That's what you're supposed to do. I feel like that's what you...
I was
that
nervous.
made sense to me. What do you mean? If I see Kobe, I'm not going to be like, hey, excuse me, sir, can I go talk to... No, I'm going to run my wrist. There's some times in life you have to run your risk, and you did it.
Yeah, they say sometimes you just got to shoot your shot.
What's
my shot.
The security is probably some old guy. What's he gonna do? Tackle you?
No. Well, I was allowed to be there because I had this media pass. But if I was just some fan inside the Air Canada Center, they'd be like, "Yo, who are you?"
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest that.
I had a camera and a microphone. And
yeah.
So that's where I met him. I asked him about. I was doing a bit on bandwagon, like. How does he feel about bandwagon fans that only come around for the good times? At this time, the LA Lakers were a terrible team. This is the 04-05 season. 05-06. Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, Chris Mim.
So was that around the time he dropped 84?
He dropped 81 2 weeks later.
Sorry.
2 weeks later, he dropped 81 points.
After talking to you.
Well,
I'm not just saying, I'm not putting it on you. I'm just saying after talking to you.
No. the way he was able to drop 81 points, because Sam Mitchell would not double team the most prolific scorer of that era. So then he dropped 50 on Morris
Sam's
Peterson.
Ego right there. That was Sam's ego right there.
And then another 30 on Jalen Rose. Caught some, I think Joey Graham caught a few of those buckets.
Jalen wasn't playing D. Jalen was talking to him. Jalen was like, yo, do your thing, fam.
But he still held Kobe at least gave him 30 and gave Mo Pete at least 30 or 40. Yeah, and he sprinkled the other 10, 11 points.
I was in prison watching this. I'm like, this is not happening. This is really happening? It was crazy. I was like...
But the crazy thing, he scored 55 points in the second half. The first half was kind of pedestrian. Okay, he's got 20... I don't know what the math is. He's got 29 points or something like that. No, not 29. 20... What is the math? 26 points. And then, second half just exploded. Walking off the court, one finger up, and his index finger's kind of deformed because the basketball has jammed his finger so many times. This one's just a little bit shorter than the other. I mean, considerably shorter than the other fingers.
Oh, man.
So that's...
So after the initial meeting, you spoke to him about the bandwagon sketch you were doing, and then afterwards, you went to L.A., or did you just say...
After that, so I spoke to him at noon, and then I spoke to him again at 5:30, asked him something about posters. And then 3 months later was the NBA All-Star Weekend in Houston. So then I asked him about, why is everything bigger in the state of Texas? And then I asked him about the space program. So within three months, I spoke to him 4 times.
So you built a relationship.
I did, and I wasn't asking anything controversial because the season before he had his trial in Colorado. Okay. So his Q rating, his popularity was very low, and
that's not you anyways. That's not your thing. That's
Correct.
not your agenda.
Correct. I'm not a journalist or reporter.
I'm trying to dig the dirt.
Yeah.
Where's the dirt?
No, definitely not. I'm there are legit reporters to do that stuff, to go find, uncover controversies or whatever. I'm just here to entertain. I'm a personality, and I'm lucky enough that I get this opportunity to go try to make some people laugh or show the true personality of these athletes.
And that's what you do. I think you did a great job of humanizing them.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. That's it. And I think over time that's why now you have access to everything. No.
The access is pretty good. It's still a challenge. Sometimes we get no's. I was telling somebody earlier, I still haven't interviewed Russell Westbrook. I want to get to Russell, and I want to try to make Russell laugh.
I'm not surprised either. But
I want to try.
Good luck. I don't know Russell, I don't even think you know how you could like to get in people's face and shit. I don't know if you could do that with him.
I'm not sure either. I don't know if I can put my hand on Russell's chest. He might be like, yo, what the hell is this guy doing?
Slam dunk your head.
If the opportunity came up, I'd really have to go brainstorm. What could I ask Russell Westbrook about that he hasn't been asked before, that he might find he might either be playful with, or even if it's awkward, it could still be funny. But I prefer him to play around with whatever idea or theme I came up with. But that would be the challenge for Russ.
Okay,
be trying to come up with something to make him laugh, because people don't really see him laughing on his Instagram feed. He smiles a little bit, but on the game he's an alpha competitor, and then with the media he's kind of prickly,
wishy-washy. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. He doesn't really have a jokey, fun relationship with the media.
He definitely has his guard up. He has his guard up. Yeah, I see it. So back to Kobe. So how'd you set up the big sit down with him where you got to just hang with him? Pretty much, it looks like it. How long was that shoot?
So then later that fall is when I went to LA for the first time, and we had to submit questions, and I just kept them really generic. So here's the thing that people don't realize is when I speak to athletes, it's a very short window. It's 5 to 7 minutes max. So
you got to be on your A game.
Yeah. And so they'll see a 4 or 5 minute total piece, but I'll add some highlights in there. I'll add a couple of sound bites just to give it a little more beef and give it some flavor. but the actual length of the raw interview was very. I interviewed David Beckham the other day in Miami. He owns a new soccer franchise. It was 5 minutes and 37 seconds.
I said David Beckham like it's nothing. Like,
but I'm just saying, like, but when people see the interview, they might assume that I've been there with him for like half an hour. But it is so short because these athletes.
So that Kobe segment was not days or anything.
Correct.
Like,
no, it was like I'm there for literally 10 minutes.
wow.
At the most, it's 10 minutes.
You did
so
well.
then, thanks, man. So, so then once the kind of precedent had been set, we'd only go once a year to LA to do like the annual Kobe interview, and then that's really where I developed like having props in interviews. So the first time I brought him CDs and pillows. He's like, "Why you bring me pillows?" I'm like, "Well, I want to stay at your house." So he goes, "You don't think I have pillows in my house?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" I just don't want to inconvenience you. So there's pillows. Then the next year, I brought him pajamas, and then the year after that, I made him a key to my house. And then the year after that, I brought him like a snow globe. I brought him like a little mini Oscar trophy after he won one of the championships. There was always something that I would bring to the interview because I like to have props for the athlete and myself to have something to interact with. Or like some images, maybe it's something photoshopped or whatever, just so that we have something to play off of.
You could run a daycare.
Daycare? Oh, no.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking. You could run something to interact with. That's very good. That's very good.
Can you imagine me like 23
What
years?
do they call it? I think they call that a discussion piece.
Is that really?
I mean, that's what you pretty much bring, something to kind of make it easy for you guys to talk.
Well, in many ways, in some ways, athletes are kids. And I'm certainly the biggest of them, but I just don't have the bankroll or the talent.
I mean, yeah.
The immaturity, 100%.
They get paid millions to play a game.
Yes.
Play.
Yeah. Play. That is the operative word.
Like, someone be like, "Daddy, come play." Like, you get paid for that. That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
But yeah, so then you got to know him and you built all those segments with him.
Yeah.
Ever since he retired, have you done anything with him?
No, the final year of his NBA career, I pitched him 4 ideas, and he liked one of them. And I was like, all right, well, I'd love to
pitched him? Like, you actually emailed him?
I emailed. So I got these pieces, like I got these images created, and we put them on this little what's called foam core. So it's like a thin. It's thicker than Bristol board. It's maybe like a couple centimeters thick. So I just made these images. So I'm like, okay, this is this idea. So one is like, one idea I had was the 20th anniversary of the 1996 NBA draft. So that draft class had Ray Allen, Steve Nash.
Damon.
No, that was Marcus Camby. Ray Allen, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant. So the idea was to get 4 of them on a stage. I would moderate it, and we would the guys would just tell stories about each other. Keep it really loose, because it's awesome to hear, like to be a fly on the wall, to hear some of these people just tell old stories. So that was one of them. Another one was, writing a sketch about a superhero AA group. So we'd hire some actors to be like put on like a Spider-Man costume and a Batman costume, and then Kobe he's like just he's a mortal man, but he had like superhuman abilities to play this great sport. And then Steve Nash would also be in this group, and then I would be like the counselor moderating conversations with people, like try to find their way after their careers.
Yeah.
And then the last one
analyze this.
Right. Yeah, great analogy. And the last one was, and this is the one that he liked, was what if Kobe never went to the NBA out of high school? What if he went to Duke University for a year? And in that sketch, we would be roommates. So it's set in 1996. So I just showed Kobe like this dorm room with the Duke logo, and like, we'd build this set. It's a dorm room. We'd have all this Duke stuff, these posters. And he goes, "This is funny." He goes, I would throw your ass out the room, or I would kill you." He said one of those two. I think he said you would kill me. But so
you spoke to him on this?
No, I presented it to him.
Oh.
So I went to LA just to pitch him this idea. And then the following day that I interviewed him, and that was the last time I interviewed him. And he gave me it was before a game, he gave me 5 minutes. Again, it was like super, super tight, small window. So then I emailed. So there's a lady that runs Kobe Inc. Her name is Molly. So I'm like, okay, let me write the sketch. Wrote a sketch, revised it, revised it. The fifth revision is the one I sent. So at the end, there was like some girls in the room and the lights are on and there's some giggling, that kind of thing. And she sent it back. She's like, you got to change the ending. I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, we're in college. We're in university. There are going to be some girls.
You know why?
Of course. Yes, of
why.
course. So then I anticipated that that would be the case. So then I sent the sixth draft 11 minutes later because I had already wrote a final scene. And then she's like, then it was just a matter of timing and could never find the time. And then as soon as Kobe retired, then he went into producer, content creator mode. So he did the short film Dear Basketball, but before that he did Muse Cage. So he did like an animated short or a thing with a puppet, and then he did another an animated short, and then he did the Dear Basketball short film, which is up for an Oscar. So he just never had the time. So I still, every once in a while, I'll send him a message on Twitter, be like, yo, we got to do our idea. But just haven't found the time yet. And I hope that we can do it at some point.
I'm going to call it from now. I see you and Kobe working on something because it only makes sense. If he's in the producer mode and you always wanted to do some theater stuff, and you have, trust me, I see it happening. Just don't worry. Just be consistent. It's going to happen.
I appreciate that.
It's going to
Thank
happen.
you. I hope so too.
It's going to happen. But I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. How'd you meet Dana, your fiance?
My fiance. Thanks. I was in Calgary for a charity event. Not Damon Allen, excuse me, Henry Burris, who was at the time the Calgary Stampeders quarterback. He had this annual softball game. So I went out and I would shoot a segment at the softball game, and I would also participate in the softball game. I was terrible. So one night we were at, before we went to dinner, we stopped in at a lounge after the event, changed, stopped in a lounge for a couple of adult beverages, and then we went to dinner. So it was at the lounge, and she was there with some friends, and that's where I met her. And I was like, oh, I'm just in town for this charity event, blah, blah, blah. And then I cracked some really terrible jokes. She's like, this guy's kind of weird. But then we exchanged information. And then I went out to Calgary later that summer. That was in May. I went in, I think, for the Calgary Stampede or NBA 3. This was 2008. So it was for either the Stampede or some more Calgary Stampeder content. Mm-hmm. And then we stayed in touch. And then she moved to Toronto and studied. She's a chiropractor, so she studied 4 years at the chiropractic school of chiropractic college.
Smart.
Yeah, and so that's and I just wore her down.
That's gonna be beneficial when you have those children and you gotta keep up with them buds.
Maybe, yeah. And when I get older, the more my back just starts to, just the stress and
you ever
agony.
heard of float?
Float? What's float?
Toronto?
No.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you about it off air. You need to try that.
Okay.
It's great. Tom Brady has this in his house.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and that's how I would be winning those.
When I get some Tom Brady money, maybe I can afford to buy one of these.
No, you don't need to. Well, till we get there, we could go to their places. You could go pay $70. Have a session.
Okay.
It's nice. I'll tell you about it. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But yeah. So you guys are gonna be getting married anytime soon?
I don't know. We just got engaged like a month ago, so it's right now just trying to find venues, and I'm not in a rush. She's more excited to get this whole plan this party and get these nuptials happening. We have an engagement party next month, so that's like the first step, and it'll be out there in Calgary, so her side of the family and friends will be able to kind of hey, congratulations, and then we move from there.
I got people out in Calgary, so don't worry. It's all right. You been out to Banff?
I have been to Banff. Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Man, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, Banff is really nice.
Beautiful.
I don't think I've ever been on a mountain there. I've just been consuming adult beverages in Banff, and that was very enjoyable.
I noticed on your Instagram pages there's a lot of sketches. How do you come up with your sketches?
Man, sometimes I just stare at the wall, or I look online for creative inspiration. Sometimes I'll go to the library and just force myself to come up with things. Okay. So when I'm when I'm pitching to an athlete, I think I was like, what hasn't this athlete done before? what will this athlete be willing to do, and what can I get away with at TSN? Those are the three things I keep in mind. And what has an athlete done before? Sometimes I'm not sure, but if it's someone who I've never interviewed before, I'll go watch some old interviews just to see their body language and see how much fun they have and stuff. And
So have you shot stuff for like TSN and they like you went through the whole thing and then they shot it down, or is there a process that they shot it down before it even gets?
No, not that. Recently I had a piece that we shot, edited, hired an animator in China to do this animated thing.
So you
spent some money,
yeah.
and then it never aired because of some internal stuff. But
how'd that make you feel?
Oh, I was devastated because every week I gotta deliver something every week, and to come up with something new every week is hard, man. It's a challenge. Listen, it's a challenge that I welcome because this is the job that I want and it's a dream job.
You know what? It goes back to even the pro athletes, because I always look at them. You can't expect them to be one. Like, I can't imagine these guys want to play ball every day, like all the time.
Fair. That's
even
right.
Even hockey players.
Yeah.
Well, football players, they should be able to play every time.
Well,
it's
it's
only
16 games. Yeah, it's only once a week. But sometimes, man, sometimes you just don't want to get off the couch.
I know. I just want to chill. But nah, you guys.
We're humans. We're not robots. Robots are our game every time. But humans, we're emotional creatures. So, yeah, I can totally. And baseball is 162 games. Imagine trying to get up emotionally every day for. Impossible.
Something about baseball that I really admire is that it's the one sport that parallels life.
Baseball.
If you look at baseball, it parallels.
How so?
I mean, okay, you could have the best game of your life and still lose.
It's true.
So it's like, it's just never know. Like, crazy things happen in baseball, and that's life. Like, crazy things.
It's interesting. I've never heard
telling
baseball as the analogy for life.
I'm telling you.
Of the sports, baseball.
What? And even the approach to baseball, you can't try too hard. You know what I mean? In other sports, you could kind of try harder, but baseball is one of the most mental out of all the sports.
That's interesting too.
You don't think so? I think so. That's why I feel like it parallels life.
Boy, that's a great. See the action. So I guess I would push back on that because the actual gameplay is so short. You have four.
No, but
chances.
like if you look at the whole season, it's so long. Like it's that long. Like it's that like life. You know, like there has to be a commitment to be a baseball player. It's a real commitment. And like how many days do you think these guys get off?
I get like one a month.
And then during the off season, they got to be back swinging the bat, because the longer you stay not swinging the bat, like you could mess up your shit.
You're right.
So,
you're right.
So you're always.
I'd say like either golf or tennis.
I've never played. Like, I never really understood golf, but I understand it. I know what you mean.
Are like the most mental of the games.
I understand that with golf. I kind of get it. But baseball is the one I know, so I know for sure.
But baseball, you're right. It's 1 versus 9 when you're at bat, and then it's a guessing game. It's like, what is this?
And then
guessing
you're in your head. It's in your head, because the pitcher could throw dumb stuff to you, and you're just on some other stuff. Like it's just.
And I feel like you could slump. The slumps are longer in baseball. Like you could be one hit for your last 23 at bats. Whereas hockey, you can go maybe 10 or 15 games without scoring, but you could be contributing to the offense. It could be an assist, or it could be or just on a unit that creates turnovers.
Even basketball,
or whatever.
you could do other things. You could get stats, you fill the stats other ways. If you're not really
rebounds, steals.
You know?
You get blocks or charges, turnovers, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's interesting though. Baseball is a parallel for life.
Yeah, it is. It is. But back to the interview now. The sketches you do, I feel like, well, I see that it generates ads for you. Like I see what you have with Advil,
Right. Yeah.
American Express, and you have other ones, right?
Yeah. It's created some opportunities for me for
So
sure.
it's worth it sitting there pushing yourself to get the sketches done.
Oh, yeah.
Because I see
listen.
other comedians,
I'm not a
comedians doing
comedian.
the same thing, like where they're always pushing this, and then they have their promo days. So I see it, but for you, you're past that. You're just getting, people coming to you and say your commercials. So
Yeah. Well, I've invested in building my brand, and it's
when you say
important.
invested,
I've financially invested in, like, I do this thing called Music Mondays where I'll go take these pictures and I'll just put together these playlists. Obviously, the playlists are free, but I have to pay the photographer every time we go out and we shoot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have a footprint in music.
so understand what the man's saying. And like, if you go on the Instagram page, those are not by accident. It's not just happening to be like, yeah, I'm just happening here. You were on it.
Yeah.
You're on it.
And my personal brand is important to me, and whether it's filming videos or taking pictures outside of TSN, and even the stuff I do at TSN, I just want to have, like, my Instagram page is like, it's kind of chaos, but it's all polished images. It's like a polished product.
Very.
Because I want to just put a certain image of myself and my work out there. I'm not taking blurry photos, or I'm not just like, oh, this is us at a party. Seven dudes is like drinking. Like, no, I don't. I have some adult beverages for sure, but I'm not.
You're not posting those.
I'm not trying to have that as my public image. So the personal brand is important, and then I just got lucky that some brands, they want to work with me. So Amex or Advil, I've done some stuff with Ruffles and Audible. I got a thing
Ruffles,
with that's my go-to, my G. All dress Ruffles. What?
Stop this.
Guy, all dressed. I can murder a bag in 13 minutes.
Why are you talking to the inner fat boy in me? Stop
Guy,
this.
you are 87 pounds.
Yo,
what do you know
this.
about all dressed Ruffles chips, my G?
Kill
If
it.
we're talking rice cakes, then yeah, I can see it because I can see the muscle definition in your
No, I do.
forearms, bro.
I stay fit.
Yeah,
I
you
stay
do.
fit, but I do indulge, and all dress will get killed, especially after I've been in the basement. Don't worry about what goes on in the basement.
That's your own space. Every man needs a man cave. Just needs to get away from everybody for a bit.
Yeah. So I see. I'm pretty sure you were pretty excited when they called you. You're like, Ruffles?
Oh yeah.
Back up the truck. Back the truck up.
Wow, yeah. I did get a couple of boxes of like big boxes.
You got tired
chips.
of it though.
I don't
want you to lose your.
No. I mean, I couldn't eat all the chips. I mean, I'd be 400 pounds, but I did give a lot of them away, and then I just had chips for like months. Just all right, you guys want to come over? I got the munchies. We're good.
So the ads, the sketches lead to the ad revenue. So those are important, and making sure your brand is polished because you have to present it on a platter. Basically.
Yeah, that's important to me. Yes.
Okay. I want to get into the games now.
Okay.
Out of the major teams will be the Raptors, the Leafs, TFC,
Here
Jays,
in Toronto, yep.
Argos, or the Rock. If you had to just attend one game, if you only going to attend one game, which team?
I would go to a Raptors game. I think basketball is the most fun for the fans, and it's what they do as far as an entertainment product inside the Air Canada Center is like the best in basketball. I've been to many different basketball arenas, and I would go to a Raptors game. I mean, there's so many highs and lows, and so many momentum shifts and stuff like that. I mean, soccer there's a lot of highs and lows as well. The scoring.
Have you gone to a game in Europe, a soccer game?
No. So I haven't seen pure.
The madness,
right? The closest I've been was I went to the World Cup in South Africa. Football, yes. So I saw Ghana play Uruguay in 2010. That was amazing, and Ghana lost on like penalty kicks at the end.
Okay.
So that was highly emotional. But if as far as Toronto's sports teams go, I would see a Raptors game first, and then I would go to probably a Jays game, and then go from there.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. For me, right now, because I've never been to one, it'd probably be a hockey game.
Okay.
And I grew up watching Hockey Night in Canada, and
Of course.
whatnot, and,
You're man.
Don
Anybody, any
Cherry.
Canadian, that's
You
part of
know?
that's in the fabric of our.
So it would have to be a
TV
hockey game
experience.
for me. But so you touched on Music Mondays,
Yeah.
and I see that you're consistent with it. How do you keep up with the music? Like for me, it's whatever lands in my lap. Like
Oh,
there's music I'm just hearing about it months later. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So
I'm more active in seeking it out. There are a few pages I go to, like usually on the weekends, because music gets released on Fridays now. Actually, well, some like
it's
Lucy.
oversaturated. I don't know how you keep like even the names. Like I learned about some girl from I can't remember her name from you. I can't. I think it's from Oakland.
Yeah, Kamaya.
Kamaya.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
this sounds real jazzy.
Yeah.
I dig
Yeah.
this.
Oh, thanks.
You know.
But I go look for it. So and I don't like everything. I mean those are the 10 that I'm gonna bang all week, just in my car, or working out, or just when I'm chilling. And some people come to the page to discover new stuff, and some people just kind of check on it from time to time. But it's important to me to always have new stimulus musically, just so it stimulates my mind in a certain way or relaxes my mind.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Canadian artist? Quote unquote.
God, there's no quote unquote Canadian. Okay? There's no quote unquote Canada. There's no quote unquote Nigeria. All right.
So yeah, let me rephrase that. I mean, like growing up, like who did you listen to?
Canadian wise, I guess it would be Cardinal Official.
And you know him? You
Yeah,
met him?
yeah. We've
guys-
had many conversations.
you
He's
guys
a
are good?
great dude and
Yeah, I follow him. I see.
and an artist who's constantly trying to. He's not trying to recreate himself, but he takes chances. I mean, my guy.
He challenges himself.
He does. Obviously, he's a pretty good MC. He can obviously spit patois. There's I don't know if there's any other art. I mean, Busta Rhymes can do it a little bit, but not with the same fluency that Cardinal has.
Cardinal before Drake was the one that had as far as hip hop. I know from just traveling when I went to Florida in Orlando back in 2001, they knew about his music. So he had an appeal outside of just Canada.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
I mean,
like,
when
yeah.
Dave Chappelle was shooting Half Baked in Toronto, that's where he discovered Cardinal's music. And then later on down the road, they became friends because Dave Chappelle was like, yo, I know you, like, it's Cardinal.
Okay.
And Cardinal's like, what? They became friends. And Cardinal travels with Dave Chappelle. Like, he's been to Chappelle's home in Ohio. He's been to his, like, barn parties where people have no cell phones. It's just a jam.
That's
Cardinal
cool.
told me some wild stories about partying with Dave Chappelle. And to your point about when you were in Florida, like, Americans taking notice of Cardinal or popping up on the radar, it's when he jumped on the Clips remix to Grinding. When he came in, they just can't hold in me, don't let go, controlling me.
That's what
and
they
then
love.
over that
That's what
beat,
they love.
that
They love that. The melody stuff. they
yeah,
love it.
man. And then he just
That's why-
murdered that remix.
That's why, okay, you know, when you look at it now, you see the Tory Lanez getting accepted, and then that's why Drake, you know, 'cause that melodic music always could win over the crowd all the time, you know.
Because like Tory Lanez, Drake, those guys, Weeknd, they can make great songs. I mean, when Drake was having his beef with Meek Mill, Drake won because he made a better song. Back to Back was a great song. When people argue Jay-Z versus Nas, The Takeover was a better song than even though Ether had doper lyrics, The Takeover was a better song. Using that Doors riff, ROC, running this rap, boom, 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 doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
The Takeover, the breaks over. But Nas had better rhymes, but still, like, that Ether beats wasn't as good. And so that's...
Well, that's what they say about, I can't remember what somebody was saying that on the internet, that Nas doesn't pick good beats for his music.
Not a lot, you know, and I kind of feel bad. I do kind of feel bad for Nas on the second record after Illmatic comes out in 94. My guy's 19 years old, produces one of the greatest bodies of work in the history of the art form at 19. The follow-up, it was written. If you listen to that now, you're like, man, this is some dope beats. Like, the production was on point. But at the time, it was too commercial sounding for hip hop sensibilities. So then
What do you
critically, it
mean,
was
yo?
panned.
I was like,
But
what is this?
oh, I
Early on.
loved it right from the jump. Like,
like,
the
yo.
message, ding, ding. I think he used like a Sting sample, and then
the
Street
music,
Dreams.
it was more the transition from, because remember he started wearing suits, and so for us think about suits wearing. I'm like, what's wrong with Nas? Why is he wearing suits? What is going on with you?
We eat our own too much, man.
We don't
allow artists to like just try stuff. Imagine Kanye came out in the 90s.
But we're talking about when
No chance.
I didn't understand like evolution at that point. For him at that point, the amount, like the way he's probably evolving was crazy. Just what he's seen in life, leaving that project, and then now he's coming out platinum plaques. So him evolving, I could never understand like what he's doing. So looking back now, obviously I didn't know that. I was just like, hey.
But also we eat our own though, man. Like, we're not embracing people like true artists as much as, maybe we did it like our parents' era, like Prince, who was a fully formed artist, Michael, and they were both masculine and effeminate.
I think it goes back to just the music being oversaturated. Like, there's a lot to choose from, and then.
Oh, you're talking about now?
Yeah, because even leading up, like even in the '90s, there was a lot of music. We didn't have the access we had to it like we have with technology, but there was still a lot of music.
Yeah, I guess relative to the time, sure.
Yeah, there was a lot. Like, there was a lot of music. I mean, like that's when the Source became big. Remember, and so like they literally made millions because of the music that was going on.
Okay, wait. So are you saying? Sorry, how does that tie into Nas though, wearing suits and stuff?
No. I was just saying, in regards to him making that transition from the first album to the second one.
Yeah.
And you said you loved it from the get go. Remember you saying?
I did. Yeah, I did love it.
For me, it wasn't like I was more into the Illmatic Nas. Because. It's been said, a lot of people say it, like Jay-Z said it, like he had one, he said,
one hot album every 10-year average.
That's what I'm saying. There's a thing that says Nas, ever since Illmatic, he really hasn't, but you can't, it's not fair.
It's not fair.
Looking back, I was biased, I guess, just being selfish, but now I know better, like it's not fair. Like, it's not fair.
I think Nas redeemed himself. Himself.
Stillmatic.
The Lost Tapes. They were better songs.
Stillmatic.
And he had some better beats. I Can, One Mic was sick. Even the song with James Brown. I think it was Get Down. Oh, Godson.
Yeah.
That was another complete body of work.
I like that one. Yeah, that's the one with Julie Black. Heaven Was a Mile Away.
That Socrates had produced.
Socrates produced that too?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I didn't know.
It's Socrates' voice on the chorus.
Shout out to Socrates.
Yeah,
leading up to my book being published, I had a couple of events, and I had some artists come out, and Socrates was one of the headliners.
Awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Socrates.
Yeah, man.
He's one of the
legends.
He's
a talented dude.
Have you held all the championship trophies?
No, I have not. Thank you. That's a great question. No one's ever asked me that before. I've only drank from the Stanley Cup, and I've eaten Captain Crunch and Lucky Charms out of the Stanley Cup, and the Larry O'Brien trophy I've held before.
Oh, yeah.
But just those two. So hockey and basketball, never held it. I
didn't think you the baseball one, because first of all, we haven't won it in years.
Yeah, it was since 93.
And that one doesn't look like it's transferable, like it's not portable like the other ones.
Yeah, it's not like something you can hold and hoist and like take
with you. It has all those
you.
flags on it. Like, it just looks awkward.
Yeah, it does. It is awkward. And then the Lombardi Trophy, I have a friend in football that if he wins it, then I might be able to hold it.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
But that's his position players are terrible, so he may never get there again.
Just a side note, seeing that we're watching the Raptors, that they're losing to Milwaukee right now.
Yeah.
Did you think it would have been cool to have Vince come back?
Yeah, we're kind of in this nostalgic culture right now where Hollywood is revamping movies or revamping TV shows. Nostalgia, I mean, it's cyclical, so people like it. It's their feel good, and Vince Carter is Toronto's feel good for a lot of people. And I think as a city, have forgiven him because he wanted to leave, and he did ultimately.
It's been a while. But when it happened,
was
bitter. It was bitter.
Yeah.
I must admit, I was bitter. You went bitter when he left?
Yeah, I guess it was a little bit. Yeah, I guess it was a
bitter.
little bit. Yeah.
Like, he pretty much punked us off. Like, he just said, fuck you guys, pretty much.
So would I have wanted to see him come back?
Yeah. You know how they wanted to bring him.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't fit into the current. He doesn't really fit into the current plans. I mean,
See, that's the whole thing with me. I'm not
taking someone else's time.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the nostalgic aspect of it, so I would have ex-nayed that.
Listen, Masai Ujiri is a godsend, and he's one of the
and
smartest executives
they did the right thing.
in sports.
They did the right thing. They did the right thing. I think they did the right thing. But now it's to move on to the segment called Agree to Disagree.
Okay.
I sent you a couple of opinions of mine, and the one that you picked up on was now the CFL. I know it's a staple in, should I say, quote unquote, Canadian?
No, you shouldn't say quote unquote.
In Canadian culture,
Mm-hmm.
and I listened to the fan, and the case has been made: is the CFL better without the Toronto franchise in it? Because of obvious reasons, there's really no support for it. Like, we don't really support it in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're better off with focusing two other small markets somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, just, I don't know. I don't see Toronto adding anything to the CFL. I feel like it takes away to it, irregardless of the fact that they just won the championship.
They did just win 105th Grey Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any league's economic viability could be sustained without the biggest market in in the country for that sport.
Let me ask you a question. If you did not get free tickets to the game, would you go to the game?
Would I go to an Argos game?
Yeah. This is a fair question.
I might.
I'm telling you, nobody's going to the game.
Well, people are, but just not in the same numbers as they are in Winnipeg or in Regina or.
This is what I'm saying. So there's
Edmonton.
Why can't the CFL go to where it's appreciated? Because it's obviously not appreciated.
It has a rich history in Toronto. You just can't.
We know that. But
you just can't. You just cannot.
Again,
economically.
You're back to the nostalgic aspect of this. You can't picture.
No, but the team just won. The team is the current champion. So that doesn't have anything to do with nostalgia.
Like
that's right
it's like
now.
6 teams in the league. Come on.
There are 9. There are 9 teams in the league. It's still the current champion. They just won on November 26th or 27th.
I saw you in the parade.
Yeah, I had to host the Argos parade.
So you're biased.
No, I'm saying economically you cannot you cannot have the largest market in the country be absent of a professional league as far as teams go. It's just not economically possible. Even though the support of the fan base isn't the strongest, you still have to have that as one of the economic drivers of the league. This is Toronto. This is the economic engine for the entire country. Yes, the oil and gas industry is the backbone and has been for years. The financial center is Toronto.
Do you think the CFL would just fold if Toronto wasn't involved?
No, it would just take a major hit. It would take a major.
I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, it's never going to happen. So we'll never know. This is a hypothetical that we can just have forever.
So we'll just again agree to disagree.
We will agree to disagree.
This is another segment of agree to disagree, and just to show you guys, as adults, grown people, you could have a disagreement without anybody getting hurt, without anybody's feelings getting hurt, But before we close out with this book, I know you talked about music, and I was kind of curious. 2 questions. First of all, sports first, what is the craziest game you saw? Like, what is it, like, live? Like, where you're like, the most memorable game you ever saw? And you're like...
most memorable game I ever saw live was...
You want me to ask it? Okay.
Probably just totally biased. I saw Game 7 Lakers Celtics 2010 Kobe had a terrible game. He shot 6 for 24, but the Lakers won on their home court, and they beat the rival Boston Celtics in 2010. It was a close game the whole way through. Fourth quarter was super close. Kobe grabbed a bunch of rebounds and was able to win the Finals MVP. But that's probably the crazy one. I saw this one, UCLA versus USC, was amazing. This college game.
Yeah.
I think O.J. Mayo was still on USC back then. And, so many swings in the game. I don't think Kevin Love and Russell, I think they played just 1
what
year
happened
each.
to the O.J. Mayo? What the heck
man.
is wrong with this guy? Yo?
He got busted for PEDs 2 years ago, I think, and just...
He's doing like heroin and shit.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
what he got tested positive for.
Oh, I thought it was PED. Oh, I didn't know it was like hard drugs. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fast life, man.
Like, what are you doing, bro?
My guy was like in Milwaukee, actually. Maybe there's nothing else to do in Milwaukee. Like you go see
Shit is
movies
real.
and then
It's real in Milwaukee,
It really
though.
is, man. The Mill. Shout out to the Mill.
No disrespect to the people out in Milwaukee. We got love too. I know there's real people everywhere. But before we close out, and then the other question is the livest hip hop show you saw.
Oh wow. Great question. The livest. Man, I've been very fortunate. There was a time.
You went to the Jigga show the other day, right?
The Jay-Z show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope. I'm going to try to remember emotionally how I felt. And there was a show, Jay-Z performed in the parking lot, in between John and Duncan, between
How'd that
Richmond
happen? Who started that? It's a pop-up?
It was
It
kind of was like a pop-up concert, and there was like, I don't know, 1,000 people in this parking lot, and it was around Caravana time. This is 2005. Rihanna, so I got to interview Rihanna. So they did a small red carpet. Rihanna, Tierra Marie, Kanye, didn't get to talk to Jay-Z. Asked Kanye some questions about basketball. He wasn't really that much of a basketball player. And then I interviewed Rihanna. I can't even remember what I asked her, something stupid. But then, so opening for Jay-Z was Cardinal Official. Cardinal did 3 songs and just murdered the place. And Jay-Z asked to sign Kanye on the spot. Kanye told me this, or Jay-Z told me, Cardinal told me the story. Jay said to his manager, we got to sign this guy tonight because he was so live. So then, Jay-Z comes out, turn my music, ha, 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 ha. So he did Blueprint and Black Album. Black Album, I think, came out in 2004. So those are the two, and then obviously did like H to the Izzo, but maybe did 7 songs, just bangers. It was fire for like 45 minutes, my dude, with the Cardi and the Hove. That was an incredible experience. And then I saw Nas at the not the docks at the Government, but Cool House, because the Government was the nightclub next door was Cool House. You could fit like 2,000 people in there. And Nas just breezed. His catalog is so big, but this is probably 10 years ago. Just breezed through a bunch of the heaters. We're like, what? And it was like, what? And it was like, but my guy would just do like,
you get hit left and right.
My guy would do like 8 bars, 10, 12 bars of a song, and then transition to the next one. We were just so mad, but it was so hyped because we're like, this is Nas, and like everybody's singing along. The place was like foggy, like I had to like hold my eyes open because it's just burning from all the smoke. But those are like 2 incredible. Sorry, the number 1 all time. Sorry, I saw Jay-Z in Anaheim, and this is after Blueprint 3. And this girl was like, hey, do you want to come down and watch the concert with me? I was up in the suite with some of my hockey boys. Want to come down and watch the concert with me? Because my friend, the music's too loud for him. I'm like, sure. We go down. We go down to the front row, my dude. Like, my belly was up against that black guardrail. And I was like right in the center stage. It was like row 1, seat 1, and seat 2. And this one was unbelievable too.
Yeah.
So for an hour and 50 minutes, I'm just trying to make eye contact with Jay-Z. I'm staring in his eyes while he's just going through breathlessly, seamlessly with the transitions from volume 1.
He's not seeing you. He's in a zone.
Volume 2, volume 3 breaks off a little I just want to love you's from Rock La Familia, but my guy was just all over. On to the next one. I lost my breath so many times, and I lost my voice because I was just singing the whole time.
Wow.
And that was the best music experience of my life.
I just remembered something. When we were talking about baseball, I wanted to touch on Roy Halladay.
Right.
Did you know him?
I interviewed him twice. I interviewed him once in Toronto and then once in Philadelphia. Super nice guy, an unbelievable talent, a bit of a recluse. Good pitchers are kind of like that because they.
I told you the mental aspect of things.
Well, as a pitcher, for sure. As a pitcher, you're constantly engaging in psychological warfare.
That's why I don't like how sometimes the Toronto media gets on Marcus Stroman, and I want him on this show. Marcus, I want you on the show. I don't like the way, because he's had to battle a lot, and being a pitcher, just let him do his thing. Like, he's not being, because I feel like some of these media guys say, sometimes he gets animated on the diamond.
Yeah,
what do you want him to do? Like, the guy's 5'8" and he's getting thrown out this, striking out big pap. I'll be going crazy too. Like, what do you mean? Sit down. I know you got to be professional, but still, But back to Roy Halladay. I feel like the sad part about Roy Halladay was that the competitiveness, the rush is what brought him to the plane, him going to flying. You know what I mean? He needed that void, because I remember Sean Avery, there's an article where he just prior to Roy Halladay passing, he touched on it, where he said it was the time after playing sports is the time that guys have is what really kills them.
Yeah.
But he wasn't saying literally, but it's just having all that time. And then, boom, Roy Halladay died like 2 weeks later, and remember that. I was like, oh. Like, he needed something, and it just so happened that's that thing that he needed to fill that void of that rush. Was the one that...
Yeah, it was really tragic. And sort of ironically, the original CEO and like the chief marketing officer or like one of the head engineers were also killed in those
something
planes.
about those planes, because the people who designed it died in it. Like, it's something I'm not getting into one. Pretty sure that way.
Neither will I.
I'm not getting to it. I took a screenshot of the plane. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep
an eye
out for that one. But I told you every guest, my last guest, one of the people I interviewed thus far, I don't know if you know Jeru the Damager.
Yeah, I know Jeru, yeah. I've heard of Jeru. I don't know him personally.
Yeah, so I got to sit down with him. So
cool.
He signed this.
Oh,
so
cool.
the idea is to put yourself in the shoes of a person who's about to be away from their loved one for years, and they want to impart some wisdom in a paragraph or two. What would you say, whether it be, your child, your wife, your partner, your mother, because that's the position I was in, and that's why I had to write these letters, because I didn't know what the future held. So I'm going to give you a pen.
Okay.
Right? And that's it. We don't have to talk about it, but I want to thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure,
for
man. This is
having
fun.
us out here and being here, and it was fun. Like, just getting to know you, like, from the time I met you at Mona's and sitting down with you. It hasn't nothing. There's nothing that's like alarming to where this guy's personality is weird.
I am weird. You're very generous, but I am weird.
No. But like the same person we saw you on the TV screen to be is who you really are, and I think that's why the athletes were like they could tolerate your shit. No,
well, I'm glad
some of the
can.
stuff you do, and I'm like, how does he do this shit? And they don't hit him.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I have a camera.
Like,
because then I could see
in people's face. Like some of the stuff you say, I'm like, oh my god, buddy, and they're so open. They allow it. So.
Well, thank you.
A lot of it has to do with. Thank you so much.
Brother. Much
for the
appreciated.
7th Loudest podcast. Thank you so much, Cabby. You gotta sign this.
Will do. My pleasure.